Good afternoon, and welcome to the 16th Gathering concert presented by Music Made in Heaven. I guess I can't say 16th Annual Gathering, since we canceled last year's concert, like everyone else did, due to the pandemic. We are so glad that you are here to share this special time with us today. I'm Barbara Marley, and I am privileged and blessed to have been the director for the past 8 years of this wonderful group of humans with whom you will become acquainted over the next hour. For those of you who are new to Music Made in Heaven, let me tell you a little bit about this unique choir. We are a community handbell ensemble based in Raleigh, North Carolina. Many of the ringers share the tragic, life-altering experience of losing a child, and the bells the choir rings on have all been donated in memory of a child, inscriptions for which are in each handle and will be read at various points throughout the program. As Elizabeth Barnes, founder of the group, said some 13 years ago when interviewed by Overtones, the handbell world's trade journal, if you will, I was saddened that our society is uncomfortable with conversations about children who have died. The simple and clear voice of handbells came to mind as a beautiful means for these children to speak to us again. Thus, Music Made in Heaven was born. The group, now in its 18th year, uses the bells to keep alive and celebrate the spirit of each child represented by our collective instrument. The ringers breathe life into that spirit every time they ring a bell, and the result is a joyful confirmation and true testament to the power of both God's and a parent's unending love and the role music plays in expressing that love. Pre-pandemic, we rehearsed every Monday night at First Baptist Church in downtown Raleigh. And every Monday, we left that church at the end of the evening with a smile in our hearts and on our faces after spending an hour and 45 minutes together doing something we love while affirming each other and the lives of the children for whom we ring. As the summer wore on, with the pandemic in full swing, it became apparent that we were not going to be able to resume rehearsals in the fall. So I began considering how MMIH could continue to celebrate our children when we were not able to meet in person and ring together. I'd seen some other choirs post videos of their virtual ensembles online, where members of the group record themselves singing or ringing their parts individually in their homes or churches, and someone then combines all the separate videos together to create a whole song. But this required pretty much everyone to become a tech whiz in order to participate, and presented a stark and unnerving contrast to whole group ringing, since you're just standing there in a room alone with your own bells while listening to a recording in your ear with the videotape rolling. There are additional tech demands on the front end when creating that recording each person uses to ring along with, and even more complex and crazy tech on the back end to do all of the editing necessary to put 13 different videos together and make it sound like we are all ringing in the same room. So there were lots of things to consider and organize, and more than a few were skeptical that we could pull it off. But eventually most everyone got on board, and off we went on our own virtual ensemble journey. In September, we met in the First Baptist Church parking lot, where everyone picked up their assigned equipment. It was so wonderful to see friends in person, masked and socially distanced, of course, since the last time we had been together was in March. Scrolling now are photos from that day, followed by pictures of the Ringers' own unique recording studios in their homes. Over the course of our 8-month journey, each ringer had to overcome their own challenges at one point or another, from teetering tripods to chiming clocks to pet helpers to plane, train, and automobile noises to making mistakes and having to start all over, to leaf blowers and lawn mowers, to practicing completely on your own, to other household members interrupting, to phones deciding to stop recording in the middle of a good take, to error messages when uploading, to creaking floors in the ceiling above you, to realizing you forgot to put on your gold scarf or tie after a good take, to just missing the camaraderie of making music together in the same room, to, well, the list goes on and you get the idea. But folks persevered, and for that I want to say thanks to each of you, which doesn't begin to express my gratitude and appreciation for the tremendous amount of effort put in by everyone to see this project through, with a special huge shout out to ringer and volunteer video editor Tricia Smith, without whom we would never have been successful in this endeavor. And now, in this concert, you'll hear and see us progress from first try to last undertaking. I hope you'll agree that we've done right by our children during this most challenging year and have kept alive and celebrated the spirit of each child represented by our collective instrument, even when we're alone.
We have been told by our industry organization, the Handbell Musicians of America, that our handbell choir is unique in that every one of our 5 octaves of bells has been donated in memory of a child. To make these bells even more meaningful, a short inscription written by the parents is in the handle of each bell. We celebrate the gift of these children at our annual spring concerts by reading these inscriptions and then ringing the individual bells. In addition, during the year at our weekly rehearsals, we read the inscriptions of children who have birthdays that week as our way of continuing to remember them and their families. Today, in addition to hearing the traditional reading of inscriptions and ringing of the bells, you will also hear briefly from 4 parents whose children are represented by bells in our choir. We want to thank them for graciously sharing with us.
I'm David Whiteman. My wife and I are so grateful to have learned about Music Made in Heaven from our daughter's preschool teacher, Peggy Jones. Our daughter Amy was born with many challenges and was not expected to live a year. Through God's grace, He has allowed us to have her here with us for 5.5 years. As we all know, losing a child is a heartbreak that only someone else who has lost a child can truly understand. That is a beautiful part of the Music Made in Heaven group, that although we may not all know each other, we know and share each other's pain. Amy loved music. When we hear her bell rung, we know that she would smile and squeal in excitement. She would have loved hearing the beautiful songs that the group presents. This group of musicians and each bell that is rung for one of our precious children gives us an added connection to our daughter, who we know is making music, dancing, and playing in heaven. Thank you so much for all that you do to honor our loved ones.
Amy Kirsten Whiteman, fearfully and wonderfully made, a perfect gift from God.
Robin B. Conrad, beloved son, November 16th, 1952 to August 22nd, 1967. Laughter and courage always.
With gratitude for her life, her family lovingly remembers Lisa Ham, 1970 to 2010.
Meredith Lee Harold, January 8th, 1987 to September 22nd, 1993. Touched by God, touched so many.
Brenda B. Bailey, June 21st, 1969 to September 16th, 2006. Psalm 55, verses 4 through 6.
Rings in loving memory of Sean Hugh O'Donnell, January 25th, 1985 to June 17, 2012.
In memory of Carol Cope Myers, February 4th, 1962 to July 28th, 2005, by Will A. Cope.
Kristen Suzanne Jones, Trust in the Lord, March 5th, 1974 to April 27th, 2000.
Catherine Elaine Waters, April 3rd, 1974, Louisville, Kentucky.
In memory of our beloved son, Eric Scott Smith, October 3rd, 1992 to October 5th, 1992.
Tara Bliss Hatley. Though she be but little, she is fierce.
Blaine Brown. To live is Christ, to die is gain. Philippians 1, verse 21.
In loving memory of Larry E. Stafford, son of Rachel and Alva Ward, born January 1952, died November 14th, 1987.
Brian, ray of sunshine.
In loving memory of Annie Shea Eaton.
Music Made in Heaven was a welcome way in remembering my baby John, who lived 4 months. The families who gathered to celebrate through beautiful music enjoyed each other. The bells represent the loved ones we loved, and to hear the names called is joyful to remember. It is a blessed celebration.
Baby John Parker Shell, 1955, son of Francis and Howard Shell.
Nick Galanos, also known as Saint Nickel. Long ladder to the top, but I haven't stopped climbing.
Thomas Richard Glassford, October 22nd, 1947 to February 23rd, 2012. Soul at home in God's outdoors.
In memory of our sons, Nicholas Joseph Miracola, Paul Michael Spampinato.
Andrew Achilles Stratus, August 24th, 1961 to May 5th, 1999. The greatest of these is love.
Donna Lynn Crocker Toms, A Light in the Darkness, Mother.
In loving memory of Jasmine.
Amanda Quick, Tuesday's Child is Full of Grace, October 13th, 1987.
Lauren A. Thompson, 1982 to 2012. Decorated our life by painting her love all over our hearts.
Corey Chapman Haddon, May 10th, 1982 to October 26th, 2008. Live, love, remember.
Derek Wallace Pearson, January 22nd, 1966 to June 17th, 2000. In dying, born to eternal life.
Julie Ann Glassford, July 8, 1971 to April 25th, 2015. God's sweet gift of joy and love.
Shay Marie Tomlin, May 20th, 2015. We will hold you in our hearts until we hold you in heaven.
George Morris Ashcraft, February 1953 to September 1954. In loving memory.
Ben Woodruff, April 27th, 1976 to May 12th, 1996. With the ringing of this bell, he is making music in heaven.
In loving memory of Charles Harrison Smith III, July 24th, 1971 to July 1st, 1999.
In loving memory of Sarah Carlisle Herbert Doro, Child of God, 1972 to 2014.
Hi, I'm Jim Dickinson. I'm standing here next to a tree that was planted in my son's memory, Jimmy Jr. We lost him in July of 1984 in a marina accident. And as you can see, this tree has grown significantly, and it's tall and handsome like he was. He started work here at Forest Oaks Country Club when he was 16 years old and was still employed at the time of his passing. I have a bell. Years ago, not too many years ago, I used to attend a golf outing at Santee Cooper in South Carolina. And during that outing, I met a gentleman from Raleigh, Sterling Smith, and one night we were just hanging out talking, and Sterling mentioned that he had lost 2 children. Well, that really hit home. So later that night I shared with him that I had lost a son, and I too was a member of the worst fraternity God ever created, those of us that have lost a child. So the next trip, Sterling had said to come down to his room. He had something to show me. And what he had was a bell engraved in my son's honor. And he began to explain to me about music made in heaven. And there was a concert around Christmas that I attended with my daughter from Raleigh and her husband. And during the concert, the bell ringer paused and announced my son's name. And as my other daughter said, there's nothing better than having someone you love and have lost hear their name in public. So after the concert, I got to thinking I wanted my own bell. So I found out how to order a bell. And before I ordered, I thought, well, I'm just going to get two for my 4 surviving children. So we have an annual beach trip in the summer. So during that trip, I explained to them about the music made in heaven and how a bell had been bought for Jimmy. And then I presented them with their bells. Needless to say, there was a tremendous amount of emotion because now they had a living thing to remember Jimmy by. So we ring the bell on the anniversary of his death, as well as his birthday or any special occasion. And this has meant a tremendous amount to my family because we have a mechanism to keep Jimmy's memory alive. Here's to you, son. We certainly miss you.
Jimmy Dickinson. Son, big bro, little bro, the best. Like a gift words can't express.
Baby Sarah Abigail, January 24th, 2002. David and Sabrina Tyndall. Little ones to him belong.
Robert Cording Dower, November 14th, 1989 to February 4th, 2012. Let your light shine. Matthew 5, verse 16.
Baby FIFO, March 2004, Psalm 139:16.
In memory of Janet Faith Briggs, our joy for a brief time.
Jackson Todd Dixon, April 9th to April 10th, 2010. In heaven with Jesus, always in our hearts.
In memory of Joy Wagner Bailey, April 12th, 1956 to February 22nd, 1986, by Francis J. Wagner Cope.
In loving memory of Macy Ray Erickson, April 26, 1983 to March 3rd, 2000.
Jamie McSpadden, August 1995 to February 2000. Our children are our gifts.
D. Gordon Freeman, Jr. To God be the glory, 1970 to 1989. Duff and Billy, Taylor and Anna.
Our Precious Angels, Preston Ray Skirvin, 1994, and Lacey Shepard Skirvin, 1996.
Eric Thomas Metcalf, scholar, artist, athlete, and beloved son. January 7th, 1993 to July 8th, 2012.
Jill Perlette, January 5th, 1972 to January 13th, 2001. Let your memory ring in joyful sounds. Love, Mom and Dad.
Bells ring while angels sing. Robert Tomlinson Hill. April 13th, 1975 to August 8th, 1990.
Susie Bear Jones, February 10th, 1985 to January 13th, 1988. Ringing and Singing in Heaven.
Hello, My name is Fred Grayman, and I'm speaking to you from the American Church in Paris, France, where I'm the director of music, and it's my privilege to introduce the next piece on the program, called Home to Heaven. It's something that I gave as a gift to Barbara Marley, the director, and to this amazing ensemble of musicians. You know, composers compose for many different reasons, and handbell ringers get together and ring for many different reasons. But this particular case is quite a special circumstance. I got to know the group through Barbara. She invited me to come work with them, and I understood completely how special their mission is. They don't just ring handbells, they actually set in motion vibrations that represent loved ones to them. Now, I decided to compose the piece because I was so moved by what they are doing. So it really was quite special how this piece came about. I hope it will vibrate in you and that you will catch the magnificence of their mission. Enjoy.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Alexander, and it's an honor to have been invited to share a little bit about our son Griffin and what Music Made in Heaven means to me. Griffin died in June of 2013 after a normal and healthy pregnancy. I had a complete placental abruption a few days before my due date, and although an ambulance rushed us to Wake Med, once we got to the hospital, we discovered that he no longer had a heartbeat. After his stillbirth, I was overwhelmed with pain and sadness, but also great love and pride, just like any mother after giving birth. He was perfect and beautiful in every way. He was 9 pounds, 2 ounces. He had a head of fuzzy dark hair, and he had the fullest cheeks that I must have kissed a million times before saying goodbye. Although a tragedy occurred, I prefer to think of Griffin's life as a love story. I know that God never left me because of the people he put in my life to help me through. After his death, some family friends came over to talk to us because they too had lost a son. They introduced us to Music Made in Heaven, and they gifted us the most beautiful, thoughtful, meaningful gift of a bell in Griffin's name. When I attended the first remembrance ceremony, I remember opening the program and seeing Griffin's name in print. But this time it was connected to something beautiful. It wasn't his death certificate or his headstone or the monogrammed clothing that I had to painfully pack away. But this was a service of hope and remembrance. And more importantly, there were many names that followed his. I also realized that we as parents had friends of witness. There were other families that could say, I see you and what you're going through. What you're going through matters to me, and I am here beside you. I want to extend my heartfelt appreciation to everyone involved in Music Made in Heaven. Thank you so much for continuing to share our children's loving light. I know they are mighty proud.
Haywood Griffin Alexander Jr., June 3rd, 2013. He put eternity in our hearts.
Bethany Rush Cartledge, March 9th, 1986 to January 18th, 1994. Of such is the kingdom.
Our special gift from God, Amanda Page Smith, October 3rd, 1992 to February 8th, 1999.
Our first son, gift for a day, February 20th, 1965. Charles and Peggy Barham.
Alexandra Caroline Piccone. Her eyes saw the best in all. Her heart forgave the worst.
Stephen Harris Bergman, September 7th, 1966 to June 27th, 1975. Forever loved and missed.
The Sandy Hook Community in Newtown, Connecticut, December 14th, 2012.
In loving memory of Martha Robertson Powell, November 10th, 1953 to May 8th, 2003.
Janet Logan Barnes, certain of a light and strong with love.
David Michael Casterco, January 28th, 1976 to 1998. Loved son, brother, friend.
Joseph Drew Smith. Let the children come to me. Such is the kingdom of heaven.
In loving memory of Mark Edward Simpson, 1955 to 1972. He loved music and laughter.
in loving memory of Mark Adam Tucker, July 23rd, 1971 to May 24th, 1999.
Where words fail, music speaks. Matthew William Lee, March the 5th, 1979 to November the 26th, 1984.
Nicholas McSpadden, March 1999 to July 2003. We can hear with our hearts.
We've come to the end of our program, featuring our last and most ambitious piece, a movingly beautiful arrangement of Amazing Grace, which seems a fitting conclusion as our country emerges from the COVID restrictions which have upended our lives for the past 14 months. We are so appreciative that you chose to spend an hour with us today celebrating our children, and we hope to see you in person at our gathering concert next year. In the meantime, please check out our website, Facebook page, and YouTube channel, each of which will be listed in the credits at the end of the video, to learn more about us and to keep up to date with our latest happenings. Wishing grace, peace, and health to you and yours. Thanks for watching.